Hello and welcome to another Doctor System 1 video, and today I'm doing yet another Doctor Who related video, and it is of should the Daleks should the Daleks return in series 9? Well, what do I think? Well, I personally think no. As much as I love the Daleks, and it pains me to say that, especially in the new series, I feel like they've become a laughingstock in the sense that they're not as threatening, they don't have that same scare factor, that sense of gravitas, that impact, that oomph to them, you know, that scariness. I guess every time you watch them, or see anything horror-wise, you get desensitized to it, and the fact that, you know, it gets more and more, you know, samey and predictable, and is the word I was looking for. And so I guess from a writer's point of view, though, it is difficult to think of different ways of making something fresh and different and scary like it was when you first saw them. But again, I guess for anyone who is watching Doctor Who for the first time, when they first see the Daleks, they're scary and they're frightening and they're menacing, or at least I would hope so. But come to think of it, imagine seeing Victory of the Daleks as your first episode, Dalek episode. I honestly wouldn't be that scared, even if I was 8, you know. I mean, granted, there is the bit with Matt Smith's Doctor, like, I am your enemy and you are mine, and then he's like, whoosh, 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 beating it up with like a metal, like, crowbar, like, thing or whatever, and stuff. But I just feel like I don't know, like, a lot of the newer episodes aren't as good as the classic series ones, or just don't have that impact, and sort of, yeah, as I say, scare factor or gravitas, and that. And so I don't think the Daleks should return in Series 9. Some people might want them to return, some people might not want them to return, but my stance and my opinion is that I don't want them to return. Just because they've been overused, they're getting a bit, well, not old, but just repetitive, and it's the same old and stuff like that. I don't know, I mean, I really do like the Daleks, so it pains me to say that. So, but I think they should have a 3-year break, and I know about, I think it's the Terry Nation Act, which essentially, if you're not aware, is like this thing where, like, the BBC have the rights to the Daleks, but they have to use them once a year. So that's pretty much why there is always a yearly episode and stuff. But the way they've got around that in some seasons and series or whatever is the fact that they've sometimes either tied in a Dalek into said story and that when really it wasn't needed, or like Waters of Mars, so that covered that for the specials. Series 6, they had the Dalek in Wedding of River Song, so, but I don't know, I mean, imagine that, 3 years of just seeing them in a scene or something, or 2 seasons seeing them just in a scene, and then in the last one maybe tied into somewhat of a story, and then that 4th series, they're actually there, because it would build up that sort of need for them to return. You'd speculate in your head, ooh, what could be the possibility? What about this, and this? But then you could argue, well, if they have a break, then you might get overexcited, and then, you know, overanalyze things, and then, you know, have too high of an expectation, and then it might, you know, be really bad and lower than your expectations. But then I think, you know, oh, so what's the alternative? Them always coming out yearly all the time, and then us just being so used to them that we're actually bored of them, that they're not a threat, that they're, yeah, boring, rubbish. People will start just slandering them and perceive them in a negative perception, and they'll slowly burn and crash, which is the last thing any true Doctor Who fan or fan of the Daleks or whatnot wants. We want them to be preserved, we want them to be just the way we remember them when we were year high and when we first saw them. So yeah, So yeah, I'd much rather them be not there for a while, for 3 seasons ideally, and then that 4th series, they'd come back and boom, you know, have a bigger, better on-screen appearance, you know. I don't know, maybe they could make a special, different type of Dalek, maybe, you know. They don't have to reinvent all of them. You know, the last time they did that, it was a bit of a shambles and a bit of a cock-up, but yeah, that's just been my opinions and thoughts of whether or not the Daleks should come back in Series 9. Whether or not you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear it in the comments section. I wouldn't mind a maybe new design, maybe. I do like the 2005 one, but yeah, I don't know. I do like that 2005 design and that, and yeah, the less we talk about the Paradigm Daleks, the better. Just bleh. That could be a separate video and in and amongst itself. So yeah, this has been the Doctor's Assistant 1. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.